I'm glad you two are here. We don't have any time to waste.
Yeah, guys, this is some pretty serious shit we got going on here.
Hey, gang, what's up? Why are we down here? Something looks Oh my god. Babs! Where are all the roots?
They're dead, Lily. Let me explain.
Yeah, but what the hell happened?
Shut up, Lily. Let her explain.
Sorry.
Someone put herbicide in the cistern water. How'd they do that? The sheriff is going to explain that part. It's why we needed Lily for your part.
So you know what you're getting into.
That's a bad thing, right?
Not as bad as it could have been, but still, very bad. Especially if we can't get this resolved in the next day or two.
What happens next?
Well, the greenhouse and the bleachers are safe. For now. The Vault-Tec purifier detected it and immediately shut down the intake. Thankfully, not a single drop made it into the greenhouse. But the entire cistern is contaminated. I need to neutralize it with a treatment before we can turn the pumps back on.
You said it's safe for now. How long we got?
Not long at all. I've got enough water for the greenhouse and the tanks for 2 days. The rest of us immediately have to go into water rationing.
Just how much water are we talking here, Bob?
No showers, food, or fabric operations. I mean, the water is safe for us and for fabrics. It's an herbicide, not a person-cide. But the entire Bleachers water supply goes through the Vault-Tec purifier and into the same tanks I use for the greenhouse. We don't have a branched water supply. It means we all have the cleanest water outside of any vault, but it also means we draw from the same reserve. You're going to have to use bottled soda instead of the soda fountain, and stop other business. We can't spare water to wash dishes or prep food. The problem is the entire East Wall complex uses between 30 and 40,000 liters of water a day, more during a heat wave. My greenhouse uses about 80% of that. Textile uses 10%, and the remainder is for the diner and the rest of the bleachers and sheriff's department.
Shit, that's a lot of water. I had no idea, Bob. I can scale back operation and turn us back into a bottled soda shop until it's fixed, yeah. Keeping that greenhouse running is more important.
Thanks, DP. I'm going to cut back the vines today to save water for the cotton and crops. Removing as much gas exchange surface area from the greenhouse as possible can get us a few more days out of our supply. This isn't a problem that can't be fixed, but it's going to take industrial-scale chemical interventions, and it has to happen fast. Unfortunately, the treatment is at Mass Chem, and Lily...
Yeah, I'm not going back there.
That's right, you're not. We sent Crenshaw already. We need you for something else. The sheriff will explain.
We initially thought this was an inside job, as cistern security is so high. That didn't turn out to be the case. The card reader log shows Deputy Hewitt was the only one who accessed the cistern in the last 24 hours.
The scout that got killed by the gunners a couple months ago on the east side?
The same. We reported his death accurately, but withheld certain details from the report to aid in the investigation. Specifically, there were signs of torture on his body, and his badge and card were missing along with most of his other belongings. At the time, we attributed it to typical gunner greed. But now that his card has been used to access the cistern, we are suspecting something more. We're running on the assumption he was tortured into giving up intel about the department prior to being murdered and dumped. The easiest explanation after that would be they hired or threatened a Green Zone secure civilian into accessing the cistern with the card. Someone we know and see regularly. Someone who wouldn't attract attention wandering around right field by themselves.
The gunners, huh? You think they might still be a bit sore about, you know.
There wasn't any reason to suspect that had any involvement at the time of Hewitt's murder. As I said, just typical gunner greed. Circumstances are different now. So answering that part of the question is the second part of this mission. We know this. Hewitt was alive, confirmed by autopsy. And we never heard him radio for help. This was a well-planned abduction. He was also operating in the same area his body was found. So they likely were in the area long enough to gather intel for an effective abduction.
I don't get it. Where do I come in then?
Hewitt's body was found less than half a click from the residence of a farmer I'm told you are familiar with. The old man with the house overlooking the ruins of Fort Independence. I believe he was one of the first Atom Cat beneficiaries.
Oh yeah, Cooter. I know him. He's a good guy. We dropped one of those household fusion generators off for him a few years back. He likes to brew his own beer, you know? Grows his own grain for it, too. That reminds me, I gotta tell Babs about my suggestion for
Thank you, Lily. Talk to him. See if he knows anything about Hewitt's murder or the people who did it. This is strictly fact-finding. Understand? If he saw anything, they likely threatened him with death if he told anyone. So he may need to be bribed or threatened for the info. I don't need to tell you the doctor's greenhouse is the lifeblood of our entire operation. The water purifier, the food, the cotton. Without it, the entire effort withers and dies. Plain and simple. If that farmer knows anything, question him. Try to find out who did this and why they went after us.
You got it, Sheriff. We won't let you down.
One last thing, Lily.
Yeah?
Don't bite off more than you can chew. This is strictly a fact-finding mission.
Hey, it's me! I know my limits better than anyone.
Lily, is that you? It's Cooter. Over here. Don't go in there. They'll kill you. Follow me.
Cooter? What's up? Hey, wait up, we're coming! Cooter? What the hell, man? What are you doing in here?
What am I doing in here? Why don't you ask that goddamn sheriff of yours? Going around, starting shit with the gunners. Poking hornets' nests.
Whoa, slow down. Start from the beginning. What's going on?
Gunners, Lily! Gunner's been living in my house for 4 months now. They made me live in my tool shed, farm my crops, and give them the food. And it's all been a fucking get your scout. All the shit just to get one guy. That's how much trouble your sheriff hero's been starting.
Wait, you mean the gunners that took Hewitt are here? Right now? In your house?
That's the poor bastard's name, yeah. I'll never forget it. That's all he'd tell him. They tortured him, and he just kept repeating his name. He died for your sheriff's department. And now I'm living in a tool shed and shitting in a pot for them, too.
Jeez, Kuda. I'm sorry. I had no idea.
F your sorries, Lily. Why the hell you guys gotta go starting trouble and leaving us to clean up the mess?
Hey, no reason to keep chewing me out, Cooter. I ain't one of the department. And you know damn well the sheriff doesn't start shit, she finishes it. Diamond City would be Gunner City if it wasn't for her and Oaks. And the Gunners would have made slaves out of the half of us they didn't kill. She don't go picking fights, and you know it. But you can't expect us to roll over and take it. Not like you did, here, for 4 months apparently.
Take it? I'm just an old man, Lily. There's a whole squad in my house. I ought to shoot you for saying shit like that.
Oh, you're gonna shoot me for calling you a pansy, but not a gunner for taking your house and turning you into a slave on your own land, tough guy?
Oh, I'll shoot you right in that big mouth of yours.
Bring it, you old fart. I'll punch your damn head down into your chest cavity and level your house with you and the gunners inside. What? You doing your impression of the sheriff now? We were talking here.
Am I interrupting anything?
No, you've been here from the start. You're part of this. He'll probably shoot you after he shoots me, as a matter of fact.
Guys, calm down. The gunners are the bad guys.
Tell that to this hoary bag of sawdust and vinegar. I'm ready to go in there and make some ground gunner.
Is that so? Tell you what, you get my house back from me and I won't shoot you in that overactive mouth of yours. I'll even tell you what I heard those assholes talk about these past 4 months. Something tells me a sheriff wants to hear that.
And you stop blaming her for this. You know I'm right.
All right. Just get me my house back.
It's a deal then, crazy old fool. Come on.
Always a regular damn comedian, Lily. Here's the key. Mouth.
This is a waste of time. Excuse me.
Huh?
Keep firing! Get some!
You never win and never quit. You're an idiot. Look at this. These assholes really drink every last one of the beers? Seriously though, look around. These guys were the ones who took Hewitt. They might have some intel around here. Babs handed out film badges so she could monitor our rad dosage. Maybe you should ask her for one. Hey, check out this terminal down here. And a badge? I think we hit pay dirt, little buddy. Check out this terminal. These are the assholes who took Hewitt, all right. They planned this for months, and we're hours from bugging out of here. The entry mentions the Hub City operation you did for Oaks, which means Devola was in town for something larger. And these guys were working with Hub City and that squad in Vault 75, which means they were all a part of this larger operation. Hey, you know what I just thought of? Did you check for intel when you took out Devola?
No. It wasn't in the mission description.
Looting everything in sight and giving me heavy shit to carry ain't usually in the mission description either.
Look at this damn mess. Those gunners trashed my place. They drank all my beer, too. Why'd they have to drink all the beer?
Man, I'm really sorry they f***ed your shit up, Cooter. I'll have Delano radio Zeke at the garage. They can come help you clean up. I'll even mention he needs to bring some beer with him. That sound good?
Well, it doesn't sound good, but it sounds better than where I was this morning when I woke up. So it'll do, little Lily. It'll do. I just want to sit on my porch, watch the ocean, and drink beer. Is that too much to ask?
That sounds like paradise, my friend. I'm gonna have to swing by on my next run and join you.
Listen, Lily. I wanted to apologize for yelling at you earlier about the sheriff. We all heard of her out here. We all know they're camouflage. I wanted to tell you guys, but I just didn't feel safe. Those gunners kidnapped your friend all right. I saw them set up the ambush point. I didn't see what they did to him, because they carted him off. But they dumped his body back where they found him.
It's okay. I understand what it's like to be alone. You're out here by yourself. I'm glad you're still alive for what it's worth, Cooter. Anything else you can tell us that was important?
Whenever they talked plans, it was pretty obvious they were reporting to some colonel. They never said his name, just called him the colonel. They sure went to a lot of trouble to get your guy quietly and alive. It took them a couple of months of just waiting and watching. I remember them talking about this colonel guy because two of them were bickering over who got to deliver the good news to him. They were supposed to get your guy talking and send the info to this colonel. After that, they just waited around for a while and drank all my beer.
You sure about that? Did they say where he was? Where they were taking their reports?
No, they never said where they'd go off to. And we live out here on a peninsula, so you always gotta walk west to get out here first. But there's more, so shut up for a second, I'll get to it.
Sorry.
So just last week, I see them dragging a settler and his daughter down here and rough them both up. They put a gun to her head and threatened to shoot her. They handed the father something and screamed to him, "Get it done!" The father came back yesterday, and they returned his daughter to him. I don't know what he was doing for them, but he didn't have no choice.
Guarantee it was whoever dumped this herbicide in the water supply. Gotta remind the sheriff he was forced before she finds out who it was. Anything else before we bounce out of here, Cooter?
Yeah, they had me slaving for 4 months, Lily. You tell the sheriff she's got a hell of a blind spot in the way those patrols operate.
That's just it, Cooter. They're patrols, not frontline troops. They ain't got the manpower to defend the entire Commonwealth.
I ain't talking about a bodyguard, Lily. I mean her scouts ain't never stopped to say hi to anyone who didn't have something to trade. All Hewitt had to do was ask one of the other local settlers, and he would have heard all about how the gunners were watching him. Now he's dead.
Gee. I see what you mean about that, Cooter. You make a really good point. I'm gonna have to talk to the sheriff and Crenshaw about that.
The only thing better than a beer on the deck is a beer on the deck with a buddy. You tell the other scouts I said that.
I will. Who knows? Maybe they can bring some oranges with them for you.
Some orange what?
Oranges? They're fruit.
Orange fruit? What kind?
Orange... You know what? Never mind. You'll be seeing one of them scouts in a few days. Try not to shoot him, okay?
Wouldn't dream of it, little Lily. I'll be here. I've always been here.
I grabbed a holotape of this journal. We gotta get it to the sheriff. But I got a sneaking suspicion this all has something to do with events in the past coming back to bite us in the ass. Let's stop by Hub City on the way back. See if we can find any intel where you iced Evola. Try to tie this all together.
Hey there.
I don't get it. Didn't you whack Devola and a bunch of gunners here? Where's all the bodies? Hey, what's that hanging over that workbench over there? That a brooch?
Hey,
That noose the brooch was hanging on wasn't an accident. It's a safe assumption they cleared any intel out of here already. But this just confirms my suspicions about what's going on. Let's get back to the sheriff by way of a stop at my room first. You're getting caught up in something old and bitter. You deserve an explanation. So, that explanation you're owed about the sheriff and the gunners. Huh. Where to begin? You see, they got a history that is making this cistern incident a little more complicated than you might think. I know Babs mentioned what happened to the sheriff in Pennsylvania with the gunners a while back at dinner night. That's where it starts. But it doesn't end there. There was a little incident here in Diamond City the gunners perpetrated. The sheriff's response? We call that the message around here. The message in the FSD motto, Mite Nuntius, more specifically. It's a touchy subject around here, because the gunners killed so many citizens of Diamond City that day.
what happened?
That story about a squad going AWOL from the Brotherhood by stealing a couple of vertibirds in the middle of the night? All true. The 4 lieutenants are all that's left of them now that the years in the wasteland have taken their toll. They stole a ton of plasma weapons and well over a dozen T-60s when they left. The same T-60s the department uses today. Gary was there too. He's a civilian, but they've looked out for him since Crenshaw found him starving to death in a subway station in the capital. After they left, they hooked up with the outcasts in the Allegheny Mountains and lived there in exchange for the vertibirds and plasma weapons. You ain't heard that whole story? Go talk to one of the lieutenants. They got this unwritten rule around here that you don't talk about battles and struggles you weren't there for. I'm about to break that rule, because you're out here dodging bullets for this bad blood between us and the gunners.
I don't care. I like being confused.
We're back, Sheriff.
I can see that.
How's the water doing?
Crenshaw returned already with the treatment. We should be operating at full capacity sometime tomorrow. Crisis averted.
Crenshaw returned with the treatment. The doctor is flushing the system now to make sure all traces of the herbicide are removed. Report. What did you two find out there?
We recovered a holotape. Lily has it.
Very good. We'll turn it over to Lieutenant Dan for analysis. What else?
Turns out, the gunners were operating out of my friend's house. He saw most of it. We iced the gunners for him, and he was more than happy to help.
So much for fact-finding.
Kuda was pretty upset, Sheriff. He wasn't gonna tell us nothing until he got his house back. Part of the intel was locked up in his head.
I see. So what facts did you find?
We got this holotape with the CO's journal on it. Kuda said they took Hewitt alive and were talking about working for someone else. Which, gunners do. But we went through their terminal after we iced them to have a look. And this seems to be a gunner operation. Nobody hired him to kidnap Hewitt. They're doing this themselves.
Continue.
Kuda said he was afraid to come forward because he had no backup out there. And I gotta admit, he is alone out there. It makes him a great victim. Basically, he said he'd agree to be our eyes and ears out there if the scouts stop by and have a few beers with him on their patrol. And you gotta know, Kuda said whoever spiked the water here was forced under threat of having his daughter killed. So once you do find out who it was, keep that under consideration when figuring out what to do with him.
Good work. And the gunners?
Oh yeah, almost forgot about him. Duh, Lily. Where were we? Oh yeah. So you'll see on this guy's journal he talks about Devola and the gunner Crenshaw whacked in Vault 75 being officers for this operation of theirs. Turns out, the ones in the vault were tasked with kidnapping random schlubs for the Institute as a revenue stream to fund this whole thing. And the ones in my friend's house were in charge of poisoning the cistern. They succeeded and were set to leave tomorrow. So we headed back to Hub City where Devola lost his head and looked for intel, because nobody told my sidekick here to look for it the first time.
Well, I'm glad you were smart enough to do so, Lily.
Someone had been by to clean up the bodies, so that place ain't fully abandoned. They definitely took anything of value out of there, though. But they left Oakes' FSD brooch behind. Remember the calling card put on Davola's body? It was wired to blow, of course. But what was really interesting is that it was hanging from a noose, Sheriff. A noose. You know what that probably means.
It would seem the gunners need to be taught a new lesson.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So what's the next step?
For you, nothing. Thanks to you two, we have a significant amount of intel that needs analyzing before we can act on it. But there is a pressing matter that we could use your friend's help with. Lieutenant Dan is waiting for you in the conference area. He'll have your payment. There is also another matter we could use your help with. The lieutenant will have the details, but briefly, there's a loose end regarding the Gunner Institute link you uncovered. We'd like to fix it.
Hey,
Lily's sidekick. Here's your payment. You should get some rest first, then come see me about an important mission related to your Vault 75 intel. Can I assume you're ready for your mission now?
I'm ready. What's the plan?
The holotape of the gunner lieutenant you killed in Vault 75 contained many encrypted journal entries, as well as the ones you read. This Lieutenant O'Brien was overseeing a running kidnapping contract for the Institute to raise revenue for an as-of-yet undetermined purpose. His company would kidnap as directed by the Institute, deliver their objective, and collect their substantial payment. He was under explicit orders from his commanding officer not to kidnap from Diamond City, our organization, or anyone under our protection. While that raises questions about what purpose they needed so many caps for, that is not why you're here. The only reason we know of this operation at all is because Lieutenant O'Brien got greedy, disobeyed orders, and took a contract to kidnap Lily.
Typical. Only two things you can count on in this world. Gunners being greedy, and the shit hitting the fan I'm holding.
We'd call it a lucky break, but that ignores what Lily's been through. Nevertheless, it was not the only outside contract the lieutenant took. The lieutenant set out a squad with the goal of kidnapping either Dr. McClintock or Mr. Dr. Pepper as targets of opportunity. The squad has been operating independently and is unaware that O'Brien's company was liquidated by Crenshaw and yourself. Neither Dr. McClintock nor Mr. Dr. Pepper leave the city very often, or regularly. When they do, they book passage with a caravan for safety. This necessitates the gunners setting up a spotter to monitor the entrance to Diamond City to give their squad advance notice. Lieutenant Harkins has found that spotter, sitting in a building south of the front gate to the city, not far from Hardware Town. We don't want the spotter, though. We want the whole squad. So we're laying a trap, and you're the bait. That makes this particularly dangerous.
Don't you worry, Dan. It's okay if we need to risk my sidekick's life for this mission. That's a chance I'm willing to take to protect my friends.
great. So what do you need me to do?
You're going to pretend to be Mr. Dr. Pepper. He's waiting for you in his room. He's been briefed and will have a set of clothes for you to wear. Put them on. You then meet Carla at the front gate. We've booked passage for you with her caravan to Abernathy Farm and told her to make it known. You will proceed with Carla to the outskirts of the Fens to ensure the gunner spotter sees you, dressed as Mr. Dr. Pepper, leaving the city. Once you're outside the Fens, you'll break off from Carla for her protection and proceed to Abernathy Farm on roads by way of Walden Pond. The gunners will know your destination and are likely to kidnap you close to Abernathy because they can predict you will be near there eventually. Lieutenant Crenshaw, his scouts, and some snipers will be following you from a distance behind in anticipation of the kidnapping attempt. Your job is to draw out the gunner kidnapping squad and keep them busy until Lieutenant Crenshaw and his men can arrive. Lieutenant Crenshaw may have more orders from there which are need to know depending on mission status. Obey them and you will be paid handsomely.